Pleased to be joined now by Ray Borg. Will be debuting at UAE Warriors 20 up against Jesse Arnett from Canada. Ray, great to have you back in action. It's been a while since the fans have seen you. How did the move to UAE come about?
Yeah, it was kind of a crazy limbo with where I was gonna end up. I wasn't too sure what was gonna happen. I was kind of just rolling with the punches, kind of just training, staying consistent, waiting for everything to fall into place. I was contemplating or I was in the process of possibly taking a fight in a smaller organization, just to kind of get a fight brewing. And then my manager Ali came to me with this, opportunity, which is something we had been working on before, recently, or shortly after I was cut. This is kind of where we had thought we were going to end up, but just with everything going on in the world, it kind of was a little bit all over the place. But we got the contract, we got the fight, and we've been good to go.
Jesse Arnett's on a 3-fight win streak. He fought on the UAE Warriors 15, the co-promotion with Habib's EFC promotion. Have you had a good look at him? What kind of a challenge do you think he is? He's 18-6.
Yeah, I've done my homework. My coaches have done, we've done our homework, and he's a tough guy. He's got some notable wins. He's got a lot of fights. He's fought quite a bit. So we're expecting a tough guy. We've been in this at the pinnacle of the game. So we're no strangers to tough fights. So he's just a tough guy and decent skill set.
What do you make of the promotion? They seem to be a promotion that's very much growing and on the up. They seem to have resources, and you just feel like they're going like that. So do you think this is a home for you now for a little while?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm just taking it fight by fight. But as far as the promotion goes, they're a great promotion. They handle everything professionally, and just the production alone is pretty badass if you ask me, man. Like they kind of got that like old school pride feeling with like the fireworks and the screen behind you. It's awesome. So we'll see how things pan out after this fight.
Have you got ambitions to win a belt in this promotion?
Yeah, man, I'm ready for whatever happens. If after I beat Jesse Arnett, if they're like, hey, fight for our promotional belt, of course I'm not going to say no. I'm just trying to restake my career and revamp my career, and show the world that I'm still one of the best fighters in the entire world.
How's everything going for you now? Do you feel back in love with the sport? Are you excited to be back? Is everything going better for you?
Yeah, man. I kind of had like a rocky gray area. After I was cut by the UFC, I was kind of in this limbo on whether or not I wanted to keep doing this. And then I remembered that this is kind of all I love to do. Like I was looking back at old pictures and old videos, and just getting my hand raised and just remembering like, man, there's no feeling better than that, and there's nothing I can do in this world that would ever compare to that feeling. And over the course of the last 4 months, I've just really fallen in love with it again. It's almost like being cut from the UFC was obviously not ideal, especially when it was kind of my me shooting myself in the foot, but it was almost like a blessing in disguise. I don't really feel like I would have refound the love for the sport the same way if I would have still been there.
Well, the good news is you're 27, man. That's crazy. So many fighters don't make it to the UFC until their late 20s. So arguably your best days could be ahead of you. So in that regard, what's your goals in terms of the rest of your career? Do you want to fight your way back to the octagon? Do you want to make a lot of money? Do you want to fight in different promotions? Do you want to travel? Like, what do you see yourself doing?
It's kind of hard, because you want to get back in the UFC, because it's the pinnacle. It's where people claim, it's where people make the stake to be the best fighter in the world. Although I do feel like there's other promotions now these days that have fighters that, look at ONE FC, look at the guys they have over there, man. Like DJ was finished for the first time ever in his career over at ONE FC. So there's all these other promotions that have amazing athletes. So right now where I'm at in my career, I'm just looking to get back in it, get a win under my belt, and just really, I have this hunger in my heart. I have this hunger, deep inside me that just really wants to just get back to just the top of the world. And, but it is a weird situation because, I do have a son. I do have a mouse to feed. So, if a promotion was to offer me more money than what the UFC would offer me, of course I'm going to go that direction. I just, but it does become tough because I do just want to be seen as one of the best fighters in the world. And, wherever I can land, that's going to put me in that position to show and showcase my skills. And that's where I want to be.
What is the wildest memory for you looking back on your time in the UFC? Which really sticks out for you?
Man, I would say one of my wildest memories was obviously probably fighting Demetrius Johnson, So what a lot of people don't know is, I got in the UFC when I was 20. I fought DJ at 24, but the reason why that was so wild for me is because, when a lot of fighters are coming up in, in the sport, they, like, for example, look at Conor McGregor, look at all the dudes that are trying to fight like Conor McGregor, and, they have that wide stance. A lot of young fighters do that, before they find who they are. A lot of fighters like to look up to other fighters and, like, kind of mimic the style and blah, blah, blah. Well, DJ was that guy for me. DJ was the guy when I was younger that I was like, okay, well, I feel like I'm stylistically could be a lot like him. So I looked up to him. I tried to mimic my style when I was young and an amateur. I was trying to fight like him because, like, and this guy's a 25er, he's one of the best in the world. And, I'm going to take from, I'm going to cut from his cloth. And then I fight him, and it's the wildest damn thing. Like, the whole day I was completely fine. Another fight, another day. And then I got in that octagon, and I see that little bald-headed dude, and I'm like, damn, I'm about to fight Demetrius Johnson. This is the craziest thing ever. And so I would say probably the craziest moment was that. The Conor McGregor bus situation, that was pretty crazy too, but for me, that was fighting Demetrius Johnson was probably the craziest moment of my career.
Yeah, to do that at 24, that's unbelievable. Yeah, tell me more about the bus, man. Like, because I remember as we all did. I was sat in Asia just reading the news. What was that like? Talk me through your reaction. I'm sure you got asked about it a bunch at the time, but how do you look back on it now?
Yeah, I just look back at it as a wild, crazy story, like, there were so many moving parts in that situation. Like, it was chaos, man. Like, everyone saw what happened outside the bus. Everybody saw Conor McGregor throw the dolly, all his buddies hitting the windows, but there was chaos inside the bus is what people don't know. The vast majority of that people on that bus was trying to get off that bus, to go after Conor and, all his dudes. That's what people don't realize is the vast majority of people on that bus were ready to get off that bus and get into some shit. So, it was a crazy experience all around. A lot of us, so at first we didn't see Conor when the bus, and like when we heard it, like, it started off with banging on the windows and things like that. And most of us on the bus didn't know it was Conor. We literally, because we were on the bus with Khabib, we literally thought Khabib just had some wild fans. And they were all like, oh yeah, Khabib, yeah. And the next thing you know, you hear someone yell, holy shit, it's Conor, it's Conor. And then the next thing you know, you see a dolly flying through the window. I'll tell you what, though, obviously a few of us, were pulled from the car because of that incident. But I will say this, though, if there wasn't a beam on that window to stop that dolly, Rose would have been seriously injured because she was sitting right behind me. And that dolly came, and luckily when you see the video, you can see it hit the beam and it stopped it from going completely through the window. Well, in the direction that it was going, it would have hit Rose, and it would have done some serious damage to Rose. So the whole situation was just madness.
It's crazy that moment changed the course of MMA history because, it means Conor Khabib, they fight at a different time. The title, maybe, a la Quinta stepping in, and then you were supposed to fight Brandon Moreno, right?
Yes.
Rose might not have become champion. Everything could have changed had that dolly hit it differently or anything. That's very weird to think that's a piece of MMA history right there. Do you think back about that and get frustrated given that Moreno is now like right up there at 125 and, things were different? That might be you, right?
Yeah, things happen for a reason. You know, I think, you know, there's no frustration with me not fighting Moreno. You know, me and Moreno were scheduled to fight 3 times. Originally, we were scheduled to fight, I think, in like Texas, and he got injured. And then they rebooked it for Brooklyn, and then all that shit happened. And then they rebooked it for Chile. And then my son was diagnosed. My son was just born and then diagnosed with a brain condition. You know, I pulled myself from that fight to be with my family during all that. So, but as far as all that, you know, it was kind of like I've come to peace with that. I'm not frustrated. I'm not mad, because sure, I still believe that I can compete with or beat most like all of the top 10 25ers. Honestly, I feel like I could beat all those dudes, but I'm not mad about it, and I have no place because I put myself in the position that I was at. You know, I failed to make weight, you know, at 25 so many times, and even 35. You know, I've come to terms, and I really feel like that's kind of why I'm in the spot that I'm at, as far as mentally, you know, everything, even physically, is because I'm at peace with what I've done, and I'm at terms of the position that I put myself in, and I know there's only one thing I can do, and that's to pull myself out of it. You know, I was never, you know, if you look at when I first got into the UFC, I never had a problem making 25. I made 25 easy every time. And then I was just running through guys. Then I got too comfortable with my life. You know, I got too comfortable making good money. I got too comfortable, you know, just kind of, here's the crazy part, is me and my coach talk about, is a lot of these dudes I beat only training during fight camps. I had gotten so like distant from the sport that I wouldn't train unless I had a fight coming up. Like, yeah, I'd be in the gym here and there, but I wouldn't really train. And I was beating these guys and competing with these guys, only trained during fight camp. And we sat down and talked about it, and we're like, man, could you imagine where we could be if we trained year round and really improved our skill set? So that's where we're at now. You know, I've been training year round since I got cut from the UFC. So, you know, I'm just more at peace with, you know, it's frustrating to know that I could beat all those guys, but you know, when you put yourself in this position, you kind of don't really have much to be frustrated at or anybody to be mad at.
You're still very much a main event fighter, and as I mentioned, 27 years old. How does it work when they cut you? Is it ruthless, or do they say, you know, get some wins and we'll see you again?
Yeah, you know, I had a good relationship. Obviously, you know, I was liked by the UFC for them to just give me, you know, a lot of it had to deal with, you know, my manager Ali just, you know, being such a great manager. But, you know, they did like me, you know, and I got chance after chance. You know, I don't think very many fighters got that many chances. And so, you know, it was more of like a, you know, hey, get your stuff together, get it together, and then, you know, we'll see what happens after a few fights, you know. So, because at the end of the day, I didn't get cut because I'm losing fights. I didn't get cut because I can't hang with these dudes. You know, it was just all, you know, me being lazy and not wanting to put in the work anymore.
Do you see yourself as a 35 or a 25er now? You know, main event 35. Is that where you are to stay now, or are you not ruling out the 25 in the future again?
I don't know, man. It's kind of a weird limbo for me, because as like a lot of people who have seen my Instagram, who have been following me the last couple months, my physique is insane right now. I even did a comparison, you know, I've never looked like this at 135. A lot of it has to do with the training consistently, eating properly, and things like that. But as disciplined as I am on my diet, as much as I actually learned the science, that's the thing, is with my weight cuts in the past, I relied off of what other people were doing. I relied off of other people's methods instead of actually getting behind the science behind it. So now I've gotten behind the science, and now I know my body. I know how to properly diet. I know how to properly eat and things like that. And so it's kind of hard to say, because I feel great at 35 right now. I'm, you know, my physique's great. I feel strong. But, you know, and then it comes to the back of my head, well, if I feel this good and look this good and I have it down that we're at 35, who's not to say that I don't have it down to go back down to 25? You know, it's kind of a weird limbo. We'll see how it goes at 35 for this fight. And, you know, it's kind of up in the air on what I'm going to do.
It's exciting, though. It's exciting. We'll be eagerly watching. It's great to have you back, Ray. Thanks a lot, mate.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you.